Good afternoon. It's March 4th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. Well, gas prices are going up again, and Biden is out of gimmicks. This past week, Saudi Arabia, along with some other OPEC producers, announced they're cutting production by about 1 million barrels a day. The result is that the price of oil is increasing, and that is bad news for consumers. Just a couple of weeks ago, a barrel of oil was hovering in the low to mid $70 range, and the price of Brent crude, one of the benchmarks in oil pricing, is now just over $85 a barrel. And you can expect to see the price of gas rise accordingly. For over a year, Joe Biden has tried to artificially tamp down the price of gas by releasing oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. He's just about tapped out that supply and will eventually have to refill it at even higher prices. So what is happening in the energy sector only serves to point out the folly of Biden's attack on the fossil fuel industry when we're still dependent upon it for so much of our energy. Experts looking at what is occurring indicate that the curve in production will tighten supplies, which could bring further price increases all around. From the very beginning of his administration, Joe Biden's made it plain that he intends to wage war on the fossil fuel industry. One of his first acts was to cut the Keystone Pipeline, and that was a danger to the energy sector. He's made good on his pledge, though. Before Biden took office, the United States had become energy independent. But based on his policies, we've seen our production of oil reduce itself to where we are now asking foreign producers to provide us with the necessary oil. We cut special deals with the dictator in Venezuela if he will just give us some more of his oil. Biden went hat in hand asking the Saudis to increase production, and they brushed him off. And make no mistake, the price of gas and diesel fuel will start rising again, and both are major components of inflation. You need both to move products from the producer to the marketplace. It forces the wholesaler to raise their prices, and the retailer follows suit. If you need proof, I would suggest you stroll down the grocery store aisles and look at the current prices and think about what you paid for the same product 2 years ago or even 6 months ago. What the administration should be concentrating on is ensuring that we have reliable and affordable energy here in the United States. Even Biden, in probably what was a slip of the tongue, admitted that we need fossil fuels and we will need them for another decade or longer. Renewable energy is something that we should continue to pursue, but not at the expense of the American public today. President Biden and the Democrats' Green New Deal agenda to prematurely transition from conventional energy like oil and natural gas entirely to renewable power would undermine our energy security as it has already begun to do so. The truth is we can't rely solely on renewable sources, as the technology has not advanced to the point that it can support all of our energy needs. Instead of an ill-fated transition that would lead to higher prices and increased dependence on foreign imports, we should pursue an all-of-the-above energy policy. Continue with developing renewables, but continue with fossil fuels. But what has Biden done? He's pointed the finger at everyone and everything but himself. A simple look at what has happened over the past 2.5 years tells you what you need to know. On January 20th, 2021, when President Biden took office, the national average for a gallon of gas was $2.38. On May 28, 2021, President Biden proposed a budget that would increase taxes on oil and gas companies, taking aim at the fossil fuel industry, and a move that would push production overseas. On August 11th of that year, President Biden calls on OPEC to increase oil production to combat the increasing costs. This announcement comes despite America ranking as a top 3 oil producer. In November 2021, President Biden urged the FTC Commissioner Chair Lina Khan to investigate oil companies and gas companies' prices, blaming oil industry leaders as gas prices continue to soar. By March 6th of 2022, oil crude surpassed $130 per barrel. And by March 11th of 2022, the national average for a gallon of gas was $4.33. And how does Biden respond to this problem? He says one thing and then says exactly the opposite when it suits his political agenda. Last year in November, while making a speech, a climate protester in the audience criticized the administration on their efforts, and Biden said, quote, "No more drilling. There's no more drilling. I haven't formed any more new drilling," end quote. And this comes just days after he demanded more drilling. So which is it, Mr. President? The national average price for a gallon of gas sits at $3.60 and is rising again. That's a 7-cent increase in a week. And who does this hurt the most? It hurts the lower income people who have to buy gas to get to work. It hurts lower income people who have to pay higher prices to put food on their table. And at some point in time, you would think the wonderkins who advise the president, the ones who tell him exactly what to say and when to say it, would figure out that they're living in some bubble in D.C. and that the American public is hurting. But I will not hold my breath for that. It's been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening.